Hey, it's HDIN Research, and today we're digging into Harley-Davidson's wild 2025 fiscal year. Now, the company called it a strategic reset, but trust me, that simple phrase hides a fascinating, high-stakes story about what's really going on under the hood. So, if you just glanced at their annual report, you'd probably think, hey, pretty good, a net income of over $338 million. But that one number is hiding two completely different tales playing out inside the company, and one of them is a pretty big problem.
To really get what's happening, you have to know how Harley is built. A whopping 80% of their money comes from the Harley-Davidson Motor Company, or HDMC, the part that actually makes and sells the iconic bikes. Almost all the rest comes from their financing arm, HDFS. And that split, it is absolutely crucial to this whole story.
All right, so let's get right into it. That hard truth we were talking about, it's buried deep inside that core motorcycle business. This right here, this is the number that tells the real story. In 2024, the motorcycle division made a solid $278 million in profit. Fast forward to 2025, it swung all the way to a loss of almost $29 million. That is a massive shift, and it's the main challenge we need to unpack.
So, what caused such a dramatic reversal? Well, it was kind of a perfect storm. First, they shipped 16% fewer bikes. That created what accountants call negative manufacturing leverage. Think of it this way. Their factory costs are pretty much fixed, right? So when you build fewer bikes, each bike has to carry more of that cost. And boom, that alone hit him for $189 million. On top of that, new tariffs piled on another $67 million in costs. Ouch.
Okay, so if the business that actually makes the motorcycles lost money, you're probably asking, how on earth did the entire company report a profit of over $300 million? Well, the answer lies in their other big division, that financial services arm, HDFS. And the reversal here is just staggering. I mean, look at this. HDFS didn't just have a good year, it had an incredible year. It almost doubled its operating income to nearly $500 million. It basically single-handedly covered all the losses from the motorcycle side and then delivered the company's entire profit. But hold on, here's the real head-scratcher. This massive surge in profit happened in a year when their main job, earning interest on bike loans, actually saw its income fall by 25%. So if they weren't making more money from lending, where did all this profit come from? And here's the answer. It wasn't from their day-to-day business. It was a one-time accounting move. See, HDFS sold off a massive $4.1 billion portfolio of their retail loans. Because they sold them, they no longer needed the cash they had set aside just in case people couldn't pay. So they just took that cash, all $191 million of it, and moved it straight into the profit column. Now, this wasn't just some random financial wizardry. It was actually a really clever move. That huge one-time profit created a financial cushion. It gave management the cover they needed to aggressively go in and start cleaning house over in the struggling motorcycle division. And make no mistake, this was 100% intentional. Management knew the motorcycle business would lose money this year. They basically decided to take their medicine all at once, accepting that short-term pain to fix a much bigger, growing problem. Way too many unsold bikes just sitting around in dealerships. So how they do it? It's pretty simple, actually. While people were buying about 12% fewer bikes, Harley cut the number of bikes they shipped to their dealers by over 16%. They deliberately supplied less than the market was demanding, all to force that excess inventory to get sold off. And you know what? It worked. By the end of the year, that inventory glut was down a whopping 17%, down to a much, much healthier level. This is huge because it sets the stage for a much cleaner 2026, where dealers aren't desperately trying to get rid of last year's models. So after all this major financial and operational reset, what's next? What does the road ahead actually look like for Harley-Davidson? Well, if you look at their official guidance for 2026, one word comes to mind: cautious. Very, very cautious. They're not promising the moon here. They're just planning for a small bump in shipments, and for the core motorcycle business, they're aiming to just break even. So yeah, after a year of deep cleaning and some pretty fancy financial footwork, the big goal isn't explosive growth. Not yet. It's all about stabilization, just getting the ship steady, matching what they build with what people are actually buying, and getting back to business from a solid foundation. Which, of course, leads to the billion-dollar question: what comes after stabilization?
And for that, everyone, and I mean everyone in the industry, is waiting for the new CEO's strategic plan, which is coming in the second quarter of 2026. That plan is going to be a make-or-break moment that will define Harley's future.
And you can bet we'll be all over that new strategy the moment it drops. For more analysis that really breaks down the numbers behind the headlines, you know where to find us, HDINresearch.com. Thanks for watching.